What's up, everyone? Carmen Dinisco here from the Launch Network. Got another awesome show today. We're still talking about the Amazon freight train, guys. We got a lot of cool stuff, a lot of information. First, let me bring on the man of the hour, Mr. Jim DeBetta. Jim, what's going on, bud?
Hey, good morning. Yeah, I feel like Carlos has been hanging around all year, but I mean, look, it's good. People love this stuff. I know that we're into part 3. We could have part 30. There's just Amazon is just such a behemoth. But I know that when everyone finally listens to all 3 parts of this series, they're going to get a good basic and even a bit more of an advanced education on Amazon. So Carlos, we appreciate you having back. Welcome.
What's up? What's up?
How you doing, man? Hey, Carlos, I see Jim ordered that background you recommended for him on Amazon.
I know if the next person that comes on, if I see a background, I'm just going to be offended. I wasn't good enough for a background.
It's called Plain White. And it's custom, and it took a while, but it's still here. Yeah, if I changed anything else, Carlos, it'll be a downgrade, so don't worry about it.
Jim has
a real door?
Yeah.
Is it a real door? Is somebody going to come through that door? Does that ever work?
It's all props right there. It just kind of gives the illusion of like somebody working from home and stuff. And I think people are comfortable with that because everyone seems to be at home. So I wanted to sort of convey that feeling, and I think it's working, right? I mean, it looks real, right?
Yeah. Well, Jim, Carlos, Jim must have a huge house because his studio, that's an actual studio he has, and it must be the most comfortable video studio around.
No, it's my bathroom. So I have couches in here, a TV, big screen on the other way, everything. So yeah, this is just the bathroom. So secrets revealed. This is like behind the scenes stuff people don't know, but.
Cool, man. So Jim, what's happening, man? Any before we get going with Carlos, any new products? What's going on with you?
Yes, actually. Well, Carlos has been instrumental in helping me with my latest. I have a couple, a husband and wife, who have a line of products, including a bonsai kits, like the I guess you saw the dishes, the planters, the bowls. God, I wish I can get this right. The pots, that's it. The bonsai pots and the wire and all the things that go along with making a bonsai kit. And they also have a product called Kajava, which is the pour over coffee drip system. And they have other things, but we're working on these things. And Carlos introduced them to me. They obviously are doing business on Amazon via Carlos and Carlos assistants and everything else. And now they want to tap into the world of retail, which is a natural progression. A lot of people are on Amazon and say, hey, I want to be, I'm doing a great business on Amazon, but I don't want all my eggs in one basket. Or they just want to expand out and see where else they can sell. And so that's like my latest over the last week. Really nice couple. I always say when I work with people, and Carlos and Carmen, I'm sure you can appreciate this, when people communicate well, but they're also willing to learn. I mean, look, we all want to learn. Just because I'm teaching here doesn't mean I don't have something to learn. I'm learning more about bonsai trees and how they sell and things like that than I ever would have thought just walking by one in a store. So just learning how those fit into different retail aspects. And so Carlos, thank you for that, as you know, but it's, you never a dull moment. You never know what's going to come your way in this, the world of products.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, Carlos, real quick, do you see a lot of, not a lot, but do you see Amazon products that you're handling transition into retail sometimes? I mean, is it a common thing or it's tough to do?
It's doable if you have the right person, or if you're just an outright masochist. Like I didn't know I didn't know Jim and you guys when I started. So I literally just paid an arm, leg, and a kidney, exhibiting everywhere, saying all the wrong things, and spun my wheels for a long time until a buyer just, I think, felt bad for me or had a quota or something and picked me up. And then I just kept milking it. But it's doable. I think the issues with a lot of early successful sellers on Amazon that maybe didn't start as an inventor or didn't think retail was something to consider, they're taught a lot of bad information. And that is, retail is dead. There is no money to be made in retail. just focus everything on Amazon, and Amazon's not your customer. Like, people that buy from you on Amazon are not your customer. You have very little control. So the ones that know better, yes, they do go to retail.
Awesome. Very cool.
Well, you sort of got into my first inventor question, because I was going to say that today what we're focusing on, and we'll never get through this ever, is the questions that we get about Amazon from inventors everywhere. And one of the questions I've received since last week when we talked was, can I do both? Can I sell on Amazon? They're asking as if it's like there's a law or something. Like, am I allowed to sell on Amazon, excuse me, and then sell to retailers? To which we started talking about, and I tell them that the answer is, well, sure they can. Obviously, you have to be careful. There's pricing considerations. There's things you have to be aware of. And so, Carlos, I'm going to bounce this back to you before Carmine and I sort of react to it. But what's your take on that further than what you just said? Can somebody successfully have it all?
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, most definitely they can. I would just caution when starting that if you're solopreneuring it, that you really can only serve one master, if you will, at a time. So I would get one thing going, learn the ins and outs, master it, get it on autopilot, build your SOPs, and then turn your attention to another massive thing. It's not like we're talking about two small things here. We're talking about Amazon and big box retail stores. So unless you have a team or you've hired the right people, then attempting to do this on your own all at once is a no-go. Just like on Amazon, attempting to start selling on Amazon, they make it very easy to sell internationally. I've never been to Turkey, and we did $800,000 sales in Turkey. So Amazon Turkey. So it's like starting off and attempting to navigate that and all this other stuff across all these platforms at the same time is a recipe for disaster. But doing it one at a time, being organized with it, treating it like a business, it's totally doable.
Yeah, it's funny because when people come to me, Carlos, they typically will already be selling on Amazon, or at least they set up a product, whether they're selling
listed.
or
they're
not.
listed.
They're listed, right? So they say, Jim, look, I'm on Amazon, I'm doing well. And then of course, when I press them for numbers, it's like, yeah, I'm selling 5 pieces a week. And I'm like, okay, well, to them, and okay, that they are doing well because they weren't selling anything. So it's a good start for them. So I always give them credit for making the attempt. But what I tell them is that although they're both seemingly retail venues, they're really not. Amazon's a marketplace. It's, come one, come all, whatever you want to find out there in the world almost seems to be on Amazon. And Amazon is, like you said, Carlos, it's its own business. That's why you're in business in great part, because you help teach and do for people who want to be on this marketplace. It's how to list it, well, the algorithms, how to run ads. It's really its own business. Retail, on the other hand, is you provide the product to the retailer, and the retailer does all the work. They do all the marketing, the selling, they take care of everything. You just have to get them the product. And it doesn't mean you shouldn't be promoting that product behind the scenes, say, get it at Target, get it at wherever. But for the most part, they take care of it. Amazon is not just put it on the virtual shelf and it's going to sell itself. You have to promote it. And there's a lot more stuff on Amazon than there is at any major retailer. So yeah, I always tell people the big hangup is the pricing, that if you're selling on Amazon, you have a widget and you're selling it for $30 on Amazon, but it's selling at $40 at Target. Target's going to be unhappy. And so you have to find a way to either have your pricing to be similar, or you have to offer a different SKU or one off of that item, so it's not Google search and it doesn't come up the same way or whatever. I mean, what are your feelings on that, Carlos, in terms of pricing?
Oh, I agree. It's something that's definitely not easy. You have different promotions going on at certain times. You have different fees involved in selling the product, and you want to be as profitable as possible. Having a $40 Target item and a $19.99 Amazon item, that's just a horrible experience for Target. It'll actually get you into some trouble on Amazon as well, though, because Amazon will feel that you're bastardizing the product almost in the form of price, and they actually make less money on that sale. So if you tank the price or you send it into the stratosphere towards the scalping range, you're going to trigger a lot of Amazon pricing rules. So neither party is going to be happy.
I don't know how they, I know there's a lot of it is software and technology, but it's crazy how delicate it is and how just one thing can trip something. All right, anyway, so I just want to try to get to more questions because I know the time goes so quickly. Another question I get from people is, how long does it take, Jim? Like, so I send you my information, and of course, I have to send them a list of the things that they need to provide to be on Amazon, but they want to know, how long does it take to get set up? And then how long does it take before they can expect to see even just one sale of one item?
Yeah. Since we're talking about creators here and they're creating a product, assuming the product is in stock and they have access to it, I can create the listing in 4 days max after they've filled out the form with just basic information that they would know about the product. Getting your barcode for the product from GS1 another day, which can be done during those 4 days. And you technically in about 5 to 6 days, because what's going to happen is let me take that back. About 2 weeks. About 2 weeks, because you can have your product available for sale in about 5 days, which means you're going to fulfill it yourself. And I was going to say, then we're going to turn on ads and you're going to immediately get sales. But since you don't have a proven track record of shipping stuff out on time, you're not even going to be eligible for ads initially. So let's call it 2 weeks.
Wait, hold on a minute. Hold on. You just said something. You're not eligible for ads. So, okay, I have a widget. I come to you, Carlos, my product is retail ready. It's packaged, barcode. It's done. I'm already selling it at some local stores. I'm good. Okay. I've got inventory. I'm ready to go. You're telling me it's going to take 4 or 5 days because I guess Amazon's busy. It just takes time for it to be accepted or approved or whatever. And then you can tell me when we're done here. But then you're telling me I have to be eligible for ads. Can you explain to people what you mean by that?
Sure. So to be eligible for ads, there's, I think it's 1 or 2 criteria. One of them is that you have the buy box, meaning you have the best offering. So if there's 10 people selling the same thing, Amazon's not going to let the person that's selling for $40 be able to show an ad to people to buy when there's a $30 less available offering on the same item. So that always ensures that people that see your ad and click on it are getting the best price available at that time. Also, that if you're running an ad for a $40 product and somebody clicks on it, they don't see a cheaper price product. You paid for the ad, but somebody else gets the sale. So that's one. You have to have the buy box. Let's just call buy box for right now. For anyone that doesn't know it, it's best offering on the listing. If you're the only one, then that's easy. You have the best offering. You're the only offering. The second one is that you're, how could I word this? The second thing to get ads is you need to be Prime eligible. So there's 2 ways to go about this. Prime is somebody has a membership, they receive it in 2 days, usually less than 2 days now, which is pretty cool. For that to happen, if they have possession of your product in their FBA warehouse, they can promise that. They have the logistics, the shipping deals that it can be delivered to you in 2 days or less. If you are a new seller, they do not know yet what your shipping experience is. They know that you don't have their rates. So you probably cannot promise 2 days. And until you have proven that, and there's a lot more to this, but I don't want to go too deep into the weeds. But if you cannot, since you have not proven that to them, until they have possession of your products, or until you have proven that, you will not be eligible for the buy box and you will not be able to run ads.
Okay. Let me sort of go backwards and sort of clarify this for everybody, even though that was very clear, but just to reiterate to people, FBA is fulfillment by Amazon for everybody that isn't aware. And basically what Carlos is saying is there's 2 ways you can ship product when you're listed and up and running on Amazon. You could either ship it from your own house or warehouse or wherever it is, but Amazon may not and probably does not trust initially that you would actually ship it to Prime members. Like I'm a Prime member, I pay to be Prime, to get it within, say, that couple days, that 2-day window. But if you ship your inventory or a set amount of inventory to Amazon's warehouse, they will absolutely ensure that, because they're very efficient. They do this more times in 5 seconds than you'll do in 6 months collectively, that the customer will get that product in the stated time. So that's what Carlos is saying about that. But here's where I think people are going to be a little confused, Carlos, on the ads. If I have a widget and it's a candle and there's 1 million candles, are you telling me or telling people that the only person who's going to be ad eligible is the person who's the lowest price? Because there's obviously there are ads for lots of candles, not just one candle. So if I have a $40 candle and you have a $30 candle, but I'm running ads for my $40 candle, are you saying either I'm not eligible to run an ad just because I'm not the lowest, or will my ads just not allow me to be in the buy box because I'm higher than the $30 candle? Can you sort of explain that a little better to people?
Sure, that's an awesome question. Let me clarify. So let's say that there's 10 brands of candles selling and they're all 2-packs. Each one of them has 10 people selling the same candle. So those are 10 offerings on each listing or each SKU. The best price on that SKU is the only one that's eligible for ads at that time. But the other 10 brands, the SKUs, the other 9 SKUs unrelated to that one, the same thing applies to each SKU. So you're eligible to run ads if you have the best offering on that SKU. Here's another example that I think might be easier. There's a method of selling on Amazon called arbitrage, and it's where people go to the store with an app and they scan the product and it says, this product is selling for $30 on Amazon, and you see it on the shelf for $10. So you get it and you send it to FBA for you to sell it. But there's probably 50 or 60 other people around the world that have seen the same deal and they're also selling it. So what happens is everyone starts dropping the price so that they have the best price and that they can get the sales. Whoever has the best price on that product out of the 60 sellers, that is who is eligible to run ads.
Okay, so basically when I list a product with you and I say, Carlos, so you're going to do a check to see, I'm going to list it anyway, right? I'm assuming, I want my product to be sold on Amazon, but you're going to check and say, Jim, look, I've looked right now, or as it is, your product is not eligible for ads. Okay, so that's part one. Is it, and just yes or no, is that what you would do?
I would definitely look at that, but in your case, and more than likely people listening to this, they're selling a product and they're the only seller. They're the only offering on that listing. It's their brand. So they're automatically, as long as their product's in Amazon FBA, they're going to be able to run ads.
Okay. So it's not necessarily, again, we're sort of going back and forth for everyone's benefit, not ours per se. But if I have a Jim DeBetta candle, even if my Jim DeBetta candle looks like the Carmine Danisco candle, but mine's $40 and his is $30, I could still run ads because mine is the only one of its type. So
yes.
Okay, good. So that's where I think people might have gotten confused. So yes, so everyone, you can be eligible for running ads unless I guess, and I know this is a whole nother discussion, if you were reselling, which you can't always do, a branded product, and that branded product, the lower priced one is going to be the one that's going to be eligible for ads versus the higher priced one. But I don't want to confuse people.
Right. And we went into this because the question was, how soon could somebody get that first sale? And what happens is, as soon as you list the product, if you run ads, I feel confident that if you're priced competitively and your listing is ad ready, meaning great images, great copy, you're going to get sales within the hour. So you can get it within the hour. The only rub there to extend it out to 2-3 weeks is the check-in time needed for you to send your products from wherever you have it to an Amazon FBA warehouse. That's it. And then once it arrives in FBA, let's say you can get sales within an hour.
Okay. Hey, Carmine, before I go into the next question, because I have many that we get, do you have any questions I'm sure that you have received from people, or do you want me to just keep going on? Because I've got a list of them.
Yeah, keep going, because a couple of those questions Carlos answered. Some of the ones
it's great, right?
Yeah,
it's crazy. All right, so this brings me to the next question, which coincidentally Carlos has already touched on, which is FBA or fulfillment by Amazon. When this comes up to people, and when they read about Amazon's FBA program, they say to me, Jim, what is that? I have inventory in a fulfillment house that let's say they're already selling, because I get people that are already selling to retailers, whether it's smaller local ones or regional ones, but they're using a fulfillment center or a warehouse to handle all their shipping. So they'll say, Jim, look, I'm already shipping and using this warehouse I'm set up. I got inventory there. Do I really need to use Amazon's fulfillment center because they charge and maybe they've done some research, or is it really critical to really having success on Amazon because I'm sort of using their services, or can I just stay using my own warehouse, which is capable? They ship to all major retailers. They know how to handle it. They're professional, and they've got a great system. So Carlos, that question always is, do I have to use FBA, or is it kind of like a wink wink? You really should use us, person, because if you are FBA, right, you could be Prime eligible, and we're going to give you more preferential viewing on Amazon because you're using our programs. I've had people ask me that. So what say you?
It's a great question. I utilize FBA. It is critical for the success on Amazon. I'll explain why, but I also use a lot of 3PLs. I use Deliver, I use Shipmonk, I use ShipBob, just depending on what I have going on. Plus I supply retail, so I have my own warehouses. The reason it's critical can be and this could be an entire episode. But this is why it's critical. Pre-COVID, 54% of households in the United States have a Prime account. I don't know when they're going to roll those numbers out again. I would not be shocked if it's 60% of households have an Amazon Prime account when they next come out. What happens is, if your products are in an Amazon FBA warehouse, they are eligible for Prime. Nobody with an Amazon Prime account that is paying that annual fee goes into Amazon and says, let me just wait 2 weeks for this product,
Yeah.
right? It's not. Amazon has successfully trained us now. 1 hour, next day, 2 day. That's what happens. So when a growing percentage of the 54 to 60% of Prime members, they begin their shopping percentage, their session with a filter that sits at the very top, and it's show me only Prime eligible items. When that, and this is a rapidly growing percentage of Prime buyers, when that box is ticked, if you are not in FBA, you just don't exist. You're not visible on Amazon. So if you want to be visible and you find it important to be visible to the 54 to 60% of the people that shop on Amazon, yes, Prime is critical for your success on Amazon.
It's sort of like a self-serving thing for them. And look, we have to remind people always that this invention business we're in is a business, and it's about making money. And I've never met or worked with an inventor that says, hey, I just want to do this for fun and I'll spend the money, but I don't care about making any money. And there's no shame in making a profit and running a business. And even though people want to help people with their inventions and do good, I'm like, you can do all that and make a living at it. That's good. That's okay. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. And people are, believe it or not. But I have to believe, and it's not a knock on Amazon because they are a business, but obviously if you use their services and their devices and everything that they offer, they're going to give you more preferential treatment in that regard. And that's okay because they do know how to ship. They do it right. They have a system. It's perfected. It hums along. It's always going to be equal or better than just about anything else that exists out there. And so I tell, because people say to me, Jim, well, can I just start out with, I have a warehouse. Can I just start out using my own and then I'll switch to FBA later? And this is important for people to know that I'm sure you can do it. But like you said, like when we shop, I want to get something. We all want this instant gratification. We want what we want when we want it. So especially if it's a gift or it's something you need, I don't want to wait 5, 8, 9 days to get something. Then I could just go to the store and go get it, assuming it's something you can get, on Amazon or at a retail store. But if I can sit here right now as we're talking and order something and it can show up possibly even tonight or tomorrow morning, I don't have a need to go anywhere. And yes, but because I'm using Amazon's FBA, the fulfillment program, they're taking care of it. Yes, you might pay a little bit more in a fee or something as a seller, but it's getting taken care of and you're showing up you're visible on Amazon. They're putting you in the buy box. They're jumping you up versus somebody who's not, because they benefit, but everybody benefits from that.
Agreed. Another thing that some people just don't take into account also that's included with Prime is a level of customer service. I pride myself on, I provide the best customer service. So I think what I could provide is better, but they do provide a level of customer service 24/7. They do understand logistics. The average person, the average business person, and I would hazard to say the average inventor, specializes in what they specialize in, and logistics and shipping zones and all this stuff is probably not one of them. So you do have a partner there. What I feel a lot of people, going back to the beginning of this question, get wrong is they say, I want to use my third-party prep center, my 3PL, because they're cheaper than Amazon. And if you only compare square footage or monthly charges for your inventory to Amazon's warehouses, then yes, they are cheaper, but that's not an apples to apples comparison. Your products being in that 3PL do not automatically qualify you for Prime.
Well, worse is that, look, it's like anything. My dad owned retail stores when I was a kid, and they bought like hardware, specialty hardware and things like that. And he was around before Home Depot and Lowe's existed. So when they opened up, Home Depot, one of their stores opened up near one of his stores, and people would come in and say, hey, and it used to be for like doorknobs and lock sets and stuff like that, because my dad did a lot of that stuff. And he would say, hey, somebody would come in and he would have a quick set, just a key and knob, like a doorknob for your house. And my dad would sell it for, say, $35. And a customer would come in and put it down on the counter at the register and say to my father, well, wow, I got to get this. I need this, but you're $35 and Home Depot sells them for $25. And so my father would say, well, then why are you here? Why are you not getting it at Home Depot? And they said, well, because Home Depot doesn't have it. They're out of stock. And my father says, well, I guess I could be $25 when I'm out of stock as well, but I'm in stock. You can have it right now. It's $35. And he wasn't trying to gouge or anything. He's a small business. He can't compete with a Home Depot. But his rationale was that it's like, I'm trying to draw a comparison that if you use your own warehouse, your own 3PL, third-party logistics, right? And it's a little bit cheaper. Well, if they don't execute as perfectly or as well, or have the level of customer service and all the things that Amazon does well, what good is it? If you're not Prime eligible, and we want Prime products, and you get that with Amazon's FBA program, that's worth a little bump because it's being taken care of. Amazon's got it. You can sleep at night. It's going to get shipped. Not to say that somebody's own, warehouse or fulfillment center wouldn't do that, but you can be assured that Amazon will not only do that, but Amazon will customer service it. They will take care of the problem, and it's all housed within one realm. All right, let me jump to the next question. This is one that I always get that's sort of fun, and I've had this a lot. Reviews. People say to me, because I tell people, look, when I shop, I don't want to see 2 reviews. I want to see 200 reviews or 2,000 reviews. Now, I'm not going to read them all. I'm going to probably just scroll. I'm probably going to look at the bad ones, if they have a few, versus looking at the 500 good ones, because I want to see what people are complaining about. Not everyone's going, oh, this is a great product. I love it, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? I mean, everyone says that. But when someone takes the time to write 3 paragraphs about why the product wasn't good, I'm interested in that, because that sounds like somebody actually took the time. And sometimes people are just whiny, or they just want to complain and they make a big deal out of nothing. Like you get people that when you see restaurant reviews, you'll see somebody give us a restaurant 1-star review and they'll say, the meal was actually pretty good and the customer service actually was really good and I had a great time. But, they said it was going to be a 10-minute wait and I waited 20 minutes. So they give it a 1-star review. I'm like, really? You're going to give it a 1-star review because you had to wait an extra 10 minutes and not taking into consideration that maybe they were just really busy and people at their tables just couldn't get out of there quick enough. So instead of them giving it a 4 out of 5, they give it a 1. That's not a thoughtful review to me. Or giving somebody a 1 review would be like, hey, I ate at this restaurant. Here's all the things that went wrong. And they weren't whiny. It sounded like they were legitimately explaining, like the food was cold or it was undercooked and blah, blah, whatever. Moving over to Amazon now. People say to me, how important are those reviews to the success of a product, or for its ability to be, as we say, get the buy box or be more visible? And then the other part too is people say, Jim, all those reviews real? Are they fake? Are people buying or companies have programs where they solicit good reviews in exchange for free product? If you can, I know again, we don't have a lot of time left, but if you could sort of break that down for people, that would be really helpful, because I get that a lot. And I'm curious a little bit myself. I think I know how it sort of works there, but would be good to hear from you.
Yeah. Let me say this. Another great question. Reviews are important everywhere. There's social validation, depending on the platform you're on. Reviews are important. The quality of reviews is significantly more important than the quantity of reviews. Right. I would also say this before getting into the rest of what you said. If the success of your product hinges on just reviews, you're in a world of hurt. Like if that's the only lever that you have to throw, Amazon is really, really not going to be for you, because there is an army of, Chinese sellers that are going against Amazon's rules and will create 60 accounts in one day, and that will completely, inundate their products with positive reviews. And they don't care if Amazon removes a bunch of them, enough sticks. So you're not going to win that game, and you shouldn't be playing it. What you should find important is when you first launch your product and you're going to turn on paid ads, you want to have, I would say, at least 3 to 5 reviews, depending on the cost of the product. Say if it's under $50, you'd want about 5 reviews. If it's about $100, about 3 reviews. The reason you should run ads before you even get those reviews, but the thing is, you're going to notice a greater conversion in your favor once you do get those 5 reviews. Now, a product that has 5 reviews and a product that has 100 reviews, if the 5 reviews has 5 stars and the 100 reviews has 3.5, 4 stars, you're going to convert better. You just are. There are a lot of people that buy a product with 100 reviews over a product with 2,000 reviews, saying they're both 5 stars, just because they like the underdog and they feel like it's a newer product. So reviews are important. The people in the Amazon space that put just, you'll live or die by it, are probably not running a legit business and building a real brand. I would focus more on the quantity, so the quality than the quantity. Are the reviews fake on Amazon? I would say about 20 to 25% are fake.
Wow. Yeah. And no surprise. I think that, right. I mean, I've seen and heard, I'll never reveal company names. I don't think it's right to do, but I've consulted with, worked with, heard from people that have worked at companies that they will legitimately, in their own world, pay for good reviews. Now, it'd be like, give us a good review and then we'll send you a product or something free, versus, hey, why don't you just honestly review and we're still going to send you something anyway? Because I think when I see all positive reviews, I'm skeptical. Like, so if there's 100 reviews and they're all like, this is great, this is what, nothing's that perfect. There's going to be somebody or something that somebody doesn't like about something. I would like to see I had to wait 10 extra minutes at the restaurant review, because then at least I could say, well, that was a bad review, but that doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't influence my decision to eat at that restaurant. Whereas if somebody said, well, I ordered this product and it works great and it feels good and it did the job, but it was 2 shades bluer than I thought it was going to be, so I'm going to give it a 2-star review. Like, I can reconcile that and say that I don't care. That's someone being ridiculous a little bit in my mind. Maybe it meant something to them, but to me, it's not. But at least there's a balance of like, hey, there's 80 really great reviews and there's 20 sort of like average. That makes me feel like those reviews are more legitimate than if like they're all really good.
Yeah, I won't buy a product that has 100% positive reviews. I just skip it. Yeah. There's 3 great ways that you actually can get reviews. One of them, and this is just sort of a pet peeve of mine, is you are running a business, and part of your business, I feel, since you're getting into Amazon and reviews are important, is to reach out to people and talk about your product. If you cannot have 5 to 6 people ready on standby that want to buy your product full price, no freebies after the fact, no refunds after the fact. If you cannot get 5 to 6 people that you have convinced that this is a good product and you need it, you really should not be in business. I feel, I'm sorry. That's just a personal one there. I mean, chat the guy up at Starbucks, wherever, whatever you're doing. I mean, you should be talking, living and breathing this product. I mean, you loved it. You're creating it. Now, in addition to that, Amazon has 2 programs. One of them is called the Early Reviewer Program, and the other one's called the Vine Program. Early Reviewer Program will let you can, I think it's like $40 to $60 if they get you the reviews per review, up to 5 reviews. And the issue there is you can't control when they come in, and you want them coming in as soon as possible. The other one is the Vine Program, and it's Amazon's way of letting you put up to 30 products or up to 30 reviews into their program, and they will ship it to really, really high level reviewers, these massive bloggers that leave really good reviews in their system. And then they will leave you those in-depth reviews usually. Now, the thing is, they do not have to leave you positive reviews. So if you have junk, you will be exposed, and you will be exposed at a very high level. So if you get 35 reviews there, plus 5 from just say you can count on 5 from your network, that's 40 reviews. You can't work with that, then there's an issue.
Yeah. I think it's like anything. It's, well, whenever I buy something, it almost always seems like a week or 2 later, I get an email from Amazon saying, "Hey, Jim, what'd you think of this? And would you want it?" And I'd say half the time I will actually take a moment to review it. It'll usually just be like a 1 or 2 line. I'll give it, if I think it's 5 stars, and I usually do. I order stuff and it's rare that I don't like it. I'll give it the stars, and then I'll just say, "Great product, worked as described, blah, blah." And I kind of keep it. I don't go into in depth. So yeah, it's,
I mean, what I do, and I guess this would be advanced, is I love email marketing, and I love that everyone thinks email is dead. So I love email marketing, and I build, I have lead magnets and Facebook ads. I'm doing other stuff. You don't have to do this for Amazon, but I do this, and I bring people into my email sequence. And then I have an automated scoring system with them. And when they achieve a certain score, I start sending them behind the scenes stuff of like how this product's made in the factory, like those things that suck you in. If you've watched How It's Made, and you're watching an hour and 45 minutes on how a straw is made. And these things kind of suck you in. And then if they keep watching those, and I just reach out to them, and I have about a 60% conversion rate on these people wanting to leave reviews. There's a lot of things you can do. It depends on how much of a business you want to treat your business as.
Whew. All right. Well, that's a lot. This is overload, Amazon overload. All right. I'm not gonna commit you to a part 4, but what I'd like to do, Carlos, is soon we want to get you back on, because Amazon's always changing, and what you're talking about today may still be relevant, but come May or June, it may not necessarily. Things may be different. And I think because Amazon's just so prevalent, I think it's good to keep people informed. And you are now unofficially, whether you like it or not, have become our Amazon resident expert on our podcast. So we appreciate it. But it is important for people to know that, as you can see, if we can do a 3-part series and really just sort of scratch the surface, how complex, yet how sort of simple in theory Amazon can be, right? You're just selling stuff. You're putting stuff up there and people are buying it. But there's so much that goes into the back end, behind the scenes. And inventors, once they start going through this process, they start to really appreciate all of what goes on. Like I walk through a store and I look at something on a shelf. I don't just look at it as a widget. I'm like, that there was like 3 years worth of work behind the scenes of that, and all the stuff that people had to do to get it there, and all the struggles and the money and the time and all the little things they have to do just to get it there. And what an accomplishment it is, because not everybody gets to do this, and not everybody gets to succeed at this. And there's more failures than there are successes. But with people like Carlos, you stand a much better chance at succeeding because he knows what the hell he's doing. Whereas if you try to go it yourself, you might get somewhere, and you might actually do okay on your own. There are people who do it on their own, but those are people that make the cover of, Fortune 500, Fortune or Inc. magazine, because they're the anomaly. The reality is you're really playing with fire. If you really think you're just going to go into some unknown vast wilderness and think you're just going to come out, in a great situation, it's tough. And so, Carlos, we know that what you offer people is invaluable and really vital potentially to them succeeding in a business that is really, even though Amazon's been around a while, it's still evolving and it's ever changing. And what you think you knew last week or last year, it may not even be relevant, or it might be relevant, but that's the key. So we appreciate you yet again being on, and we will definitely have you back, because again, people need to be updated and informed as to what goes on with Amazon.
Absolutely. I really appreciated being on. I've been looking forward to these recordings. So anytime you want me back, that's fine. I'm going to be leaning on you and you guys for similar content in your zone of genius with my group. So I look forward to staying in contact.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, very cool, man. That was great. I think what we learned, Jim, is that, do what you know, and you'll be a lot happier. I mean, you can't do everything if you're an inventor, or product developer, or you want to sell products. That's great, because there's so many more things that I can concentrate on that I'm good at. Whereas you bolt on somebody like Carlos, and he's doing that stuff that he's good at. So, it's one of those things that Jim and I talk about it all the time. Whereas if you're doing these things, you don't want to just give yourself a job. Selling products, it should be fun. Inventing should be fun. So bringing the right people in makes it a lot more fun, right, Jim?
Selling and being successful is a lot more fun than not selling and failing. I can tell you that, especially when you're spending money to get there. I mean, I always tell people, just going at it yourself is literally like akin to walking into a casino and throwing your money down on 13 black. You're taking your chances. But when you work with people that know what they're doing, it's still risky. It is. But at least you're going in knowing the risks and being able to attempt to navigate them with intelligence versus just sort of going blindly. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm more confused about Amazon than I was before Carlos
well, that's
came
good.
on.
Well,
yeah, I'm kidding. Right.
But you're not supposed to know about it. You know about retail, I mean, that's why Carlos knows what he knows. And if you can go into this business knowing that you're minimizing all the risks, all the things that you're not sure of, you could feel better about yourself. Certainly it might not work, but if you put the right people in place, and you have to believe and you have to trust that they are the best at what they're doing, you're really minimizing your risk, giving you the best shot at success. You know, and that's why bringing somebody like Carlos, bringing somebody in like you for retail, bringing somebody in for Carlos like Carlos for Amazon. Now I'm talking with my manufacturers. I'm creating the product as best I can. I'm purchasing the product, delivering it to you guys. Everybody has their spot. Everybody has their expertise. You can't do it all. You're going to let something drop through the cracks. And that could be the most important thing.
We cover it all. I think that's what's funny. The three of us right here, this trio, we actually cover just about everything. You do from the product development and manufacturing stages. It sort of then gets passed off to me as a finished product. I get it to retail. And then it seems like everybody that wants to be on Amazon, there's Carlos who takes care of that. And it's nice to be able to know that, we can do that for people and help them. And, everybody wins, everybody can make money and everyone can be successful. And it's nice. It's rewarding that way financially for everybody potentially. And just emotionally knowing that you help somebody, because people's inventions are always, it's a dream of theirs almost always. It's something they've always wanted to do and they want to leave their job to do it. Or it's something they've been thinking about for 20 years and they're finally getting their shot. So to be able to help people along is nice for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And Carlos, you probably feel it too. Both Jim and I, we get super excited when we see one of our clients' products either get into retail, or if I'm walking through an airport or I'm walking somewhere and I see somebody using a product that I help develop and manufacture. And you probably kind of get the same feeling when, you have clients and their products just blowing up on Amazon. You're like, this is how it should be, right?
Heck yeah. That's what you live for there.
Yeah, it's so cool. But all right, all you listeners out there, we've droned on long enough. We appreciate you guys listening. And as usual, I mean, the man, Carlos, the Wizard of Amazon, thank you so much for being on and giving us this wealth of knowledge. And, like Jim said, we'll have you on again for Mr. Jim DeBetta. We thank you all for listening, and we will catch you next time on Get Retail Ready. You all take care.